Trevor Lee is with us now of NXT out here doing the Progress Super Strong Style 16 weekend. Trevor, how have you been enjoying your week in London?
Yeah, it's been a great time here in London for Progress. I really enjoyed the scene over here, so it's cool to be able to take some time away from the PC and be able to come here and see what it's all about here.
Have you, because I know we actually saw you guys when you were over with Impact, I think it was last year, but have you wrestled much in the UK prior to that?
Yeah, I've wrestled a few places here, like Rev Pro, Southside, Fight Club Pro, those places, but not Progress. Yeah, it's the first time here.
And taking part in a lot of the big indies out in the States, particularly somewhere like PWG, where you were a mainstay. How is this experience this weekend compared with, say, doing something like the big tournament they do out there?
Yeah, it's same talent-wise, like you said, like those big tournaments, like they stack up all the guys and bring in all the best guys. But this building is a little bit bigger than the building in Reseda. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
People won't yet be familiar with you, maybe, if they are only familiar with the WWE product, the NXT product. I followed you through PWG, Impact, etc. But for people who don't know you, I thought it was fascinating kind of reading more about you, how you grew up around wrestling. Can you kind of tell us a bit about how you first came to wrestling? Yeah,
my father was a professional wrestler as well. He started a company in North Carolina called Omega with Matt Hardy, and so throughout the 90s, I was just kind of raised with a wrestling ring in my yard, and all those guys practiced in my yard, so that's kind of like how I grew up. So naturally, it just kind of fell into my lap, and I just kind of ran with it.
Was there ever a point where you thought to yourself, you're so immersed in it that you thought, I'm not actually going to do this, I want to be the rebellious teen and break off and do something else?
Yeah, like as a kid, I kind of stopped watching it for a little bit, but then kind of out of middle school, going into high school, I got back into it real heavy, and then it's been all moving forward since then, yeah.
Coming out of the Carolinas and working with guys like the Hardys, who are obviously not just legends internationally, but obviously locally as well, what was that experience like growing up? Do you have any memories particularly of advice or times that you worked with those guys?
Just really, there's tons, man. Like, just always, like I said, just training in the yard, and then Matt would come to like every one of my birthday parties. So like, I was their next door neighbor up until the time that I graduated high school and moved to go to a different training school and have a more full-time schedule. So it was just like, it seemed normal, but I guess it wasn't, right?
I think the thing is, you talk about them coming to your birthday parties. In my mind, it's like they've turned up as the entertainment. Like they're in full gear, they're going to do the big entrance and everything. But I guess like it was, more naturalized than that. I hope so, at least.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no entrance music at all.
I mean, that's a little bit disappointing. If Matt Hardy turned up at my birthday, I'd kind of want the drums to hit, and we could all be doing the fingers as well. You then got to face Matt when you were in the Indies, right? When working with your dad's company. What was that like?
Yeah, that was really cool. Omega kind of restarted back a couple years ago under the direction of Shane Helms, and we ended up running a show in my high school that I graduated from, that also the Hardys graduated from, and in that show I beat Matt Hardy and C.W. Anderson, I want to say, to win the Omega Heavyweight Championship, so that was a pretty cool moment. But yeah, I got to work with them a couple times in Impact and on the Indies, and it was always just a blast, such a pleasure.
Do you feel any pressure coming from the lineage of your father, the company there, and people see this idea that you worked with guys like that, and they will put you into a box potentially immediately that's going to be your style, that's where you're going to come from?
Yeah, I don't think I get a lot of pressure from it, because like, even though I kind of have that as a background, I've never kind of used it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like publicly try to promote it so much to where it's like, it seems like I'm only here for that reason, you know what I mean? Like they
I can only apologize for asking so much.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Like they trained and helped me and stuff, but then like it was me that kind of like had to get over and do my own thing. Like they've helped me a couple times, but like it was me that had to like get over in PWG and then kind of get over in all these other places. So like, yeah, naturally, like what's the word I'm looking for? Influenced, yeah, by that style and by that craziness, but also at the same time, I kind of want to have my own direction as well, and kind of do my own thing as well. And you know, I don't feel too much pressure really, other than the pressure of just keeping up with the rest of the guys that are already here. You know.
Yeah. Well, no, that's fair. How did you find when you first moved from those kind of indie scenes into doing something like Impact, televised, and a product which is a little bit more designed for that style, that televised style, and less kind of, like you said, high spots, crazy stuff? Yeah, how did you find that transition at first?
It was definitely cool. I loved making that transition because you can only kill yourself so much, you know what I mean, for little money. So at least less time, more money is always great in any job. But I really like the TV style. I really like working towards that kind of product. So I got to do a lot on the indies. I got to do like everything I kind of wanted to do there. So it's just kind of, you know, phases, just kind of going through it. I definitely don't miss doing all the high spots and everything. Like I look forward to a 4-minute time segment.
Did you spend much time? You know, you obviously grew up around wrestling. Yeah. In terms of your father, etc. Did you ever grow up much around either the WWE product? Did you ever go to shows when you were younger and kind of see that difference?
Yeah, I went to a couple WWE shows. Like every time that they would come to North Carolina, we would go to like all those shows. But yeah, I kept up with the WWE product a lot, so it was cool, you know, just being able to go there and experience it and see it like backstage and whatnot. So yeah, that was really cool, you know, just being a kid and being able to meet guys like The Rock and Undertaker, stuff like that. So
what do you say to guys like that when you're a kid and you meet them?
Well, when I met The Rock, it was like in passing in like a little hallway. And I told him, don't be a jabroni, eat your raviolis. It was during that time when that commercial was real big.
Yeah.
It was actually the night the Hardys won the tag team titles for the first time. Ooh. Yeah, so it was pretty cool, yeah.
What's it been like for you as well, seeing this kind of recent burst of guys coming from the independent scene to products like NXT? I mean, I look at the guys you've faced at big points in your career, going through like Kevin Steen, Gargano, Adam Cole, Chris Hero, Ricochet, and all these guys now succeeding and holding titles in WWE. Kind of from the outside, watching that, has that been inspirational to you?
Yeah, it's definitely an inspiration. It definitely lights a fire in me as well. Like I said, like when I got to PWG, it was when those guys were carrying that company as well and making it like the place to be. And I kind of came in around the end of that, so I got to watch all those guys kind of leave, and then it kind of put me in the spot of like being the locker room leader, you know, of like that kind of area, and trying to like keep PWG still cool. So it's definitely an inspiration to see like how these guys are doing so well now in WWE, and if I could do it with them then, I feel like I can do it with them now just as well.
How have your early experiences been with the Performance Center, with going into WWE? It's, I imagine, quite a different environment.
Slightly a little different environment, but I really love it. Before I even worked for WWE, I was already training pretty much regularly, at least 3 times a week. So it really wasn't that much of a upgrade in the training schedule as well. So now I just get paid to train. So
that's nice.
Yeah, so you really can't get better than that if you're a professional wrestler or sports entertainer. So I mean, I've really just been enjoying my time at the PC, honestly.
I mean, it's great. And coming in kind of, again, we talked about those guys who've come through and had success, but you look at the guys coming through in your class and the class before, guys like Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, we've got Kushida now, you know, these are proper indie legends who are getting their shot as well, and you're in there. It just feels like it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy time right now for WWE. So, and they're just going to keep bringing people in, you know, and like that Performance Center is just a crazy place to be right now with the coaches and like everything. Like they're just making monsters.
I mean, I'm sure that as somebody who grew up around wrestling, maybe you don't have those moments in the same way, but was there anything when you first stepped into WWE, or you first, you know, got there and realized you were working with Triple H and Shawn Michaels? Was there anything like that that really kind of hit you? Yeah,
there was a really cool moment the first day. We had like our first day introductions, and like we're kind of doing this like big meeting, and like they're telling us all the rules and everything. Like just this is a long like full day meeting of just like introducing us to the job and whatnot. And we're all kind of sitting in there, and then like this door like opens, and like you hear this like racket, like someone's like falling through the door or something. And then we all just kind of turn around, and it's just Shawn Michaels, and he's just like, "Oh, sorry." And like right before that, they just wrote like, they were like, "Just make sure you enjoy the moment that you're here." You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are caught up in like wanting to take it farther and not like enjoying the time that they have there. So like as soon as he said that, then Shawn Michaels just like crashes through the door and just like makes a big scene, and it's just like, yeah, I guess this is where we are now.
and finally, you had your first match in an NXT ring, maybe not televised, but I saw that you and Shane Strickland, another guy coming in, tore it up the other night. What was your first experience of actually getting in front of a crowd there at Full Sail?
It was great. I've been doing a bunch of the Coconut Loop shows, which are like just like local shows around Florida for NXT, and those have been great. But the crowds there too they're not the NXT crowd, like they're just like fans that know that the show's in town and want to kind of come see it. So it's cool to kind of get them into it, but then to wrestle in front of that Full Sail crowd that is that crowd that you watch and you see and you know that that's that NXT crowd. So like it was great. It was great to just like come out and know that people already knew me, so like I didn't have to kind of like reintroduce myself. It was kind of cool that they're already kind of caught up on everything, and it was great. It was so cool, just getting to wrestle in that whole environment. It was awesome.
Well, look, we really enjoyed your work this weekend. You've clearly got the crowd. You're over in the right way, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's been really good fun. So we wish you the best of luck with all of it, and hopefully we see you back here with NXT, maybe at Download this year. Maybe we'll see you when you come over and do some shows over here again.
Yeah, man, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Trevor.